firewalls, that are required, but not just for this. You have ERP systems. You have. I can show you right now. I have a system that I can track any vehicle of the county wherever it is right now, know who the driver is, and switch it off if there's a problem. And I see all of them. All of those are hosted within that environment. So this was not, the data center was not for, it's not an exclusive place for revenue system. A revenue system is just one of the things within an IT environment that can be hosted at a data center.
Yeah, sure. I think that is clear, Governor. The question is, the auditor is saying there's still capacity for us to host that system there, in addition to all the other systems. And maybe from their perspective, if we took away the hosting component, it would be cheaper and value for money. Is this tier 1 server room capable of that? That is all we need to do. To know. No, because it cost us 850 million, Governor.
It was done by the one question, then you can answer.
Yeah, sorry.
On the G2G agreement, can Konza then allow you to host that server? And
I would not even ask them for it.
Yes.
It's a bad idea. When they need to change a firewall or to buy new equipment, because this equipment moves every 2-3 years, that would be a cost on us. Right now, with this arrangement, that is a cost on them to continue upgrading and maintaining, that hosting environment. And so I would use my data center for other things that do not require as much cybersecurity, as much, sensitivity as revenue collection. So I would not even ask them for it, unless, let me ask, it is the ICT guy, but just from what I've seen it costs, someone comes and shows you one thing like this, compare 20 million shillings, and you're like, that can do so much more.
Then the question becomes, Governor, why do we keep putting money there if it is being underutilized?
It's used for other
Why
things.
do we keep putting money there?
In our data center?
Yes.
Our data center is used for many other things that are not as sensitive. It is still used. We still have to have the many needs that a data center serves. But the kind of cybersecurity and kind of, just as I've read out, level of maintenance and upgrades on this system. And remember I told you the cost of it being down just for 2 hours. If it's down for 5 hours, it costs me, there are days I collect 200 million. If it's down half a day, I've lost 100, And even hiring the people to keep running it, I would rather that comes as software as a service. That is, in fact, part of the cost-benefit analysis they will show you is the cost of just the equipment. It is much more. It will take people years to recoup it.
Auditor, the query was on underutilization. That explanation that the governor is giving, do you think then it doesn't matter because they are doing other things with the server center, that they don't need to host Nairobi Pay in this server? Does that mitigate this query?
Thank you, Chair. That mitigates. The concern to begin with was there was no evidence that they had assessed the readiness of the support from that the server room before now they moved they handed over the host to the Konza. So there was no evidence that it had been taken into consideration.
From the initial time, it was G2G, and that's why it was hosted by Konza. That's my understanding.
What he's saying,
yes,
is that if an analysis of the capacity we have internally,
yes,
was taken into account during that conversation, maybe the hosting component would not have been given to Konza, and it would have been cheaper for the people of Nairobi.
And my reading is, I don't know, maybe Governor, okay, Governor, let's see what you have to say about that.
I think I'll just explain for me, and maybe we should just bring the numbers. The cost-benefit analysis and the convention that the world is going to is that if I don't have to buy a pig to have breakfast for one sausage, you can own the pig, keep producing sausages, I'll buy the sausage that I want. The service makes sense where it is, because I don't have to buy servers every 2-3 years. I don't have to keep buying equipment and laptops and whatnot.
Session Chair, we were together in the Parliament of South Africa when our counterpart committee was looking at the city of Kuruleni. Kuruleni is a metropolitan city, hived off Joburg, and it covers the area where OR Tambo is. And so it's a very, very rich city. I was with Senator Wambua and Senator Mwaruma. The city of Ekurhuleni lost 2 billion rands through a cybercrime incidents. And we sat through the hearings of the committee, and we had very interesting things. That insiders colluded with hackers, or hackers working with municipal insiders, infiltrated the city's billing system and manipulated property debt records, created fake invoices, issued fraudulent rates, clearance certificates. In fact, at the end of that session, the chair asked about the instant fines, because they make a lot of money from instant fines, these things that you are handing over to NTSA, but that's a conversation for another day. And the municipality said that it was a management decision to turn off instant fines. And Senator Wambua, you remember how that awkward that sounded. In total, the city lost 2 billion rands. 2 billion rands is easily 14 billion Kenya shillings as a result of compromised systems. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that Nairobi might want to host all these systems internally, but the question would be, what is their capacity? And that's why it's important for us to look at the results of a systems audit that focuses on security and controls. Because you don't want a situation where, fine, you've got this nice server room, but there's someone inside that server room who tells you, if you want me to clear your rates, nipe kitu kidogo, and then I can go into the system and do that. So for me, the greater concern should be to assure the people of Nairobi that whether it's hosted on a cloud at Konza or hosted on premise in your data center, that there are appropriate security controls, there is proper integrity to avoid the repetition of what we saw in Joburg. I say that just to illustrate that it's not theoretical. It is something that is happening. It's a big, big scandal in South Africa, even though I think, just like Kenya, they are used to big scandals. They've grown thick skins. So it can happen here if we do not take proactive measures, Chair.
Chair,
okay, Governor.
Chair, the substantive chair has really affirmed my position. Keep it where the safety, the security, the focus, that's all they do. You know, as opposed to where you will not have the continuous upgrading and whatnot. And it's a service that you want. Yeah. The objective of the county is not to host, it is to get revenue. And to get it in a safe way, efficient way, without downtime. So if they can provide that, of course it can be a matter of pride to say today we host, but even where the world is moving, there are less and less physical spaces for hosting. It's in the cloud, you know. So Chair, that is my position.
But just talked about it.
Yes,
Governor, just confirm to us, in the contract, do you have a deal on the uptime for?
Yes, there's a service level agreement.
What's the percentage?
I don't know the contract of it, but is what, 99%?
99%.
Yeah.
And they're achieving it.
99%. For most part, we can come substantively on this matter and explain it. But I promise you, every county should use this system if they are really serious about revenue.
Sure.
But you see, the hesitation with some people is that hapa they hakuna deal, you know. So come hapa kupangana, why should I move into that one? So you stay with the vendor.
Yeah, I mean, Governor, from what you have said, where you're saying it's, you know, you'd rather put your data on a cloud rather than on premise. Along the same lines, I think we all agree that it's better to keep your cash not under the mattress but in a bank. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You missed the substantive part. You just come. We even spoke about buckets.
Members, I think, okay, Nairobi Senator.
I'm waiting for you to call for AOB.
Okay. This horse can't be flogged further, but we've made progress, members, auditors. I think for all of us, we've made tremendous progress on this issue. The more we look at it, the more we discuss it, I keep also understanding it more and more. Let's go to closing remarks, and I would start with the Gov.
Let me just, with your permission, Chair.
Okay.
You know, yesterday the governor
in
was
closing or
No, this is just as AOB because he's here.
Okay.
Yesterday the governor was before the finance committee and I tried to raise this AOB, but because I was playing away, they decided to call it offside. But now that I am at home and this committee is what I don't want to go there. Governor, there is an issue that is current that I really wanted us to just, even if you don't have those answers now, you need to calm the anxiety of the people of Nairobi regarding this proposal that we hear that you wanted to borrow an amount of money, from a private bank, essentially to be able to complete development projects. And unfortunately today, because we have covered the receive of revenue report, we didn't go into the main report so that we could see the sort of projects that are earmarked for that conversation. But just to calm the anxiety of the people, you need to explain just briefly the rationale for this decision, the legality of the decision, whether you have secured the necessary approvals from and guarantees from the national government, whether there have been engagements with the county assembly, for instance, on these issues, and just what assurance that once this thing goes through, here we talk about ring fencing of money for specific purposes. What assurance we can get that we're getting value for money. Number two, that the money will go to the projects that are earmarked. And number three, Governor, the general terms of that agreement, whether they are legal and whether the people of Nairobi can take comfort that the right thing is being done. Chair, that is the only issue I wanted to bring yesterday. I thought it would be ideal there. But if he can comment. If not, he can say.
Are you able to comment on that?
Ever ready. I'm always ready, Chair.
Go ahead.
Chair, allow me first to explain, as I have said when I started, the biggest challenge in this city has been that we have not set up the financing structures of a capital as should be. And that's why you always operate on huge deficit. And I was explaining, when I say in 2022 I found pending bills of 109 billion or 119, those have been, 119 billion for a county that was collecting 8 is just astronomous. But that problem will never be solved until you unlock proper financing. Joburg, where you are, is listed, on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and collects so much more. Its value is bigger than South Africa in terms of brand, and so on and so forth. And so we keep exploring what options we have, even as we push. And I'm glad you're helping us as we push our own source capacity. But we will explore all avenues through which we can be able to sort out outstanding liabilities. Because now 119 was big, but it's come to 86 billion. So even as we want to sort those out, how we have a sustainable method of financing the capital, which is why I was very happy to run into the cooperation, because that injected to me another 80 billion worth of projects, not done necessarily by one entity, but worth of projects. 80B will take me 100 years of collecting parking, in town. So, Chair, it is a thought we've had. Now, the law, Senator Sifuna, makes it so difficult for a county to borrow. It is extremely difficult and convoluted process. Article 212 of the Constitution says that a county may borrow only if it gets 1, national government guarantee, and 2, approval of the county assembly. Then you go to the PFM, Public Finance Management Act. PFM, section 140 of PFM, gives you the considerations. The CECM of Finance may raise a loan on behalf of the county executive, so long as it is in line with Article 212 of the Constitution that I've told you, and Section 58 again of PFM. It must be part of your county fiscal strategy paper in terms of the projects you want to undertake, and the limit is set in the county debt management strategy paper. Yeah. Then when you go to 141, it again gives you other criteria. You look at 141 of PFM. About the limit being set, market value that it must be the lowest possible cost in the market, consistent with the appropriate degree of risk, meaning you cannot single source any credit facility, because it must be the best market value.